Hello. So I want to show you the difference with the umbrellas. I'm taking the 41 inch down and the A2, the smaller strobe, because I'm going to use the 51 inch silver. The A2 could absolutely positively give me enough power to fill the 51 inch umbrella and to, you know, produce great light. And like I said before, that's literally a speed light. But using the B10, you can dial down the power quite a bit, and your battery is going to last a lot longer. And this would go with any strobe system. You know, the larger strobe, the more powerful strobe you can dial down and get more, more shots out of it with a single battery than you could with a smaller strobe pumping the power up. Now, this is a silver deep umbrella, 51 inch, and you notice I don't have it out that far, the umbrella, so I'm really containing the light. A lot of people say that they use soft boxes, because they're better at containing light than umbrellas. But a deep silver can really contain the light. Without the diffusion on the front, you have major control over this light. And you would have the same kind of control with the white umbrella, with the white deep umbrella. But let me just show you, this is the first shot. You can see, the light is missing her. And you can see what a small area is covering. So it's down to the right, and it has to be adjusted to hit her rather than just going down to the right. So I'm raising it up, aiming it better at the subject. And when you see the next shot, you can see the fall off on the sides already. Even though I'm tight, you can see what kind of fall off this is. And I can even make that, a smaller light source, just by pulling that umbrella in even more, or putting the light into the umbrella even more. And you can widen it, obviously. Now, the shadows obviously are hard because of the distance is probably 10 feet from the model, and it's silver. There's no diffusion on it. This is just a straight silver umbrella, and I love the look. I mean, it's absolutely a gorgeous look. But having a silver umbrella and an outside diffusion gives you so many different looks. Now, as you can see in this photo, the umbrella is to the right. You can see the left side, the fall off is, way too much. And somebody asked about the highlighter, and like here, I'm just using a straight reflector to bounce light up in it. You don't have to spend $199 on a highlighter. You can use a piece of paper, for God's sakes. But, just so you know, don't, because we're using the highlighter, if you're doing a lot of headshots and it's, what you're making money off of, it's worth getting. But if you're not doing that much, just use a regular reflector. It'll do the same thing. So here's the same thing. That's the silver umbrella with the diffusion on it. And number one, it's a stop and a half diffusion. So there it is. I didn't change anything. That's a stop and a half under. So like when you go into Lightroom, if you did this, the exposure, you take up a stop and a half, and you're going to have the correct exposure because it's a stop and a half diffusion. There it is. But rather than, doing it in Lightroom, obviously I'm going to adjust it in the camera. But I just wanted to show you that what a stop and a half diffusion does, even with a silver umbrella. And it's not that much of a power loss with a stronger strobe. But now, as you can see, the spread of the light is a lot more with this diffusion on the front. You're still getting that boost in power because it's a silver umbrella, but that diffusion just gives you a little bit softer light. Now, it's not really soft because I don't have it close to the model. Again, this is 10 feet away, so you're getting defined shadows. And again, I like defined shadows. That's why I keep it that far away. But if you wanted to use a silver umbrella with a diffusion on it and put it close to the model, your light is going to be so soft. But when someone says, they don't use umbrellas because they can't control the light, light is completely controllable with that type umbrella. So anyway, someone else asked me about the backdrops and switching them out. I don't do this all the time because I just like straight shots. And if it was up to me, I'd use a white background and a subject, and that's it. But there's people that are going to want this. So this is the iPad Photoshop. I'm just going to do some light retouching. You know, her eyes were coming up, so she had some heavy wrinkles in her forehead, and I know she hates that, so I'll just take care of those. And I'm just taking care of some odds and ends, really light retouching, nothing major. And this was done with the silver umbrella, as you can see, because of the left side, you know, I don't have that umbrella aimed correctly. Um, this technique, you can find a whole bunch of this on YouTube on how to edit, but because I'm not going to go into that, I'm not a complete pro at that. This is just a quick down and dirty one. I use the black and white so I can bring out the imperfections and even out the tones in her skin because she had, a little bit blotchy, but that black and white layer helps you a lot with that. Anyway, so adding the backdrop to this in Photoshop. Oh, by the way, this adaptive portrait that Lightroom has in it now this is Lightroom Mobile. That's incredible. Like it softens the skin a little bit. It brightens the eyes. It corrects teeth. It's really nice. I just wish it was more controllable for all of it. Anyway, I'm back in Photoshop now. I'm going to add the backdrop. And, you know, this is really, really simple now that the select subject is so damn good anymore. And, you know, obviously you're going to have to fine tune it no matter what. But in mobile, you know, you could never do this in mobile before. So yeah, I'm just going to give you a quick down and dirty, not like technique wise, but, you know, I add the backdrop over the image. I set it to either overlay or soft light. It depends on the image. I want it a little bit more defined in the backdrop, so I'm using overlay. I go back to the subject and select, and then I'm going to invert it, and then go back to the backdrop itself and create a mask. And it's that simple. And then, you know, you can use the black or white brush to, you know, fix everything, anything that they misses, especially with the hair and so forth. But like I said, this is just a quick down and dirty to give you an idea of what I do and how I do it. I'm using the curves adjustment layer just to pull out the backdrop more. You know, I wish I can go into more detail with this, but you know, there's so many great instructors on this kind of stuff that I don't want to like put my 2 cents in because they can teach this a lot more. There's a spot that it missed. And with the mask, it's so easy because you just use the brush. I'm going to use the white brush and just paint in the backdrop and the spots that it missed with the hair. And again, this isn't perfect. It's just quick down and dirty to show you how I add the overlays. So I apologize for that. I wish I could be more critical and informative over that, but because there's so many great ones out there, you know, go watch their videos. They'll help you with this. But anyway, my point in this is showing you that this can be done in Photoshop and Lightroom Mobile on an iPad. It's pretty impressive. And here I'm just adding another element into this just for fun. And I know there's a lot of people that love this stuff. I'm not like a huge fan of all this stuff in the back and doing the post processing like this. I just like plain simple images. But when you need it, you need it. You know, so knowing about it and knowing how to do it is a great thing. This you're going to do the same thing. Create the overlay, create the mask, and then brush it out. That's it. That's as much as I can give you as far as this information is concerned. So really not a great informative video today. But you get the gist of it and how to do it, and that's all you need. It's a good starting point. And obviously, I would use different lighting for this. I just wanted to show the umbrella, but since we're here, I figured, why not show you this as well. For something like this, I would have used a side light so it was coming in from the side of the window kind of a thing. But after some, fiddling and playing, here's the final image. It's crisp and sharp, and I hope you enjoyed.